Overthinking isn't the real problem here. It's just the mask that you wear because you're afraid to be seen struggling. You think that if people watch you mess up, then you're a loser. So you start to hide behind this label of I'm an overthinker. But that's not true. That's a lie. I know that's a lie because I used to believe the exact same thing too. You can change your story. You can always change your story. You may not feel ready to do that right now, but that's what I'm going to help you get started with. Welcome back to Be Unafraid podcast. So you've told yourself that you are an overthinker. Overthinking is what you do, and overthinking is your personality. You overthink your plans, you overthink your goals, you overthink your food, you overthink every single thing that you're going to do in your entire life. But overthinking is not the problem here. Overthinking is how you're coping to hide and mask the actual problem that's actually happening inside of yourself. Overthinking is how you're managing that anxiety within yourself. The anxiety of what if. You care about what other people think about every single decision that you make in your life. You care about their opinion. You care about how they're going to perceive you and how they're going to think about you. So you start to overthink and you call yourself an overthinker, but in reality, you are just putting too much emphasis on what other people think of you. So you stay in your head. You stay in your head just thinking about what ifs, playing future scenarios over and over and over, and you actually don't make the decisions that you need to make, and you make very little progress in life because you're worried too much about what's to come. The truth is, overthinking is not your personality. It's something that you're using as protection. Overthinking is very addictive in a way. It makes you feel smart. It makes you feel prepared. It makes you feel like you're a very careful person and you're just making the best possible decisions after you look at all the options. But the reality of life is a lot of decisions are sort of binary. It's you either make the leap and you do something or you don't do it at all. But we have this ability to try to complicate things and to try to make decisions as difficult as they possibly can be for various reasons. And part of that reasons is because of the fear that is within ourselves. It's the fear that is within yourself, the fear of rejection, the fear of what other people are going to think, the fear of embarrassment. You're going to be embarrassed if you make the wrong choice and things don't work out. You might even get rejected by some people if things don't work out. And you play that over and over in your head, and you're trying to find a way that you can move forward without experiencing any of those things. You're afraid to be seen like you're struggling in life. You're afraid to be seen like you're starting something and you don't know what you're doing and you're just bad at that thing and you're struggling. Something about that scares you. It's a very interesting thing because even if you think of the people that are good at the things that you want to do, people that have the things that you want, people that have the life that you want, they struggled to get there. And you don't see that. They might have done a very good job at hiding that, or you just didn't see that part of their life and you're starting to see them doing very well. And that's when you start to think, that person is better than me because they're getting this thing and they make it look so effortless, when in reality, that is not true. Those people struggle too. Most people in life struggle, unless you're just supremely talented and good at everything, which is extremely rare. You struggle when you start anything new, or you struggle when you go into something that's unknown. And that is where the beauty is. And that is where the journey of growth is. It's in the struggle. That is the only way you can actually get better. You have to take the risk to go into something, look bad, be a beginner, be embarrassed, be rejected, be laughed at, whatever it is that you're afraid of. You have to go through that. And most of the time, it's not as bad as you think it is. You have to start calling that out. Anytime that you find yourself struggling with a decision, or you find yourself struggling with a choice or an option, step back and ask yourself, am I overthinking? If you catch yourself thinking that, flip that. Don't ask, am I overthinking? Ask, what am I afraid of? That's a better question than why am I overthinking or am I overthinking? When you ask yourself, what am I afraid of? You now have to think about the thing that you're running away from, the thing that you're hiding from. I'm afraid to do X because I'm afraid that this person who's close to me is going to look at me and say, why is someone like you doing something like this? You don't do that. You don't do that. That's not something that you do. You're afraid that the people close to you might tell you that it's a bad idea, might tell you that you don't have what it takes, or they might even turn away from you. You're afraid of that thing. So when you start to define that thing, you start to now change how you look at things. You stop calling this abstract word of overthinking, and now you fully define what that fear is. And the moment you define what that fear is, that will unlock the next step for you to actually now start to figure out, how do I get over that fear? If you are tired of hiding behind this overthinking, and you know that there's something big inside of you that you're scared to get started, subscribe to this podcast. Every episode on this podcast is designed to help you stop doubting yourself and to start taking action so that you can become the person that you're proud of. Let's get back into the episode. The next thing that you'll find yourself doing when you label yourself as an overthinker, quote unquote overthinker, is that you start to lie to yourself. You start to lie to yourself and telling yourself that you need to feel ready to be ready to do something. That chase of feeling ready. You're chasing a feeling of readiness. One thing that I have learned in my life is that you never get that feeling ever. I can't recall a time when I felt ready to do something. Because anytime you set your goals large enough to where you're doing something that's very challenging, you're doing something that's very hard and very difficult, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. You're not yet quite there mentally, and you don't feel like you're equipped for it. Therefore, you never feel ready. And I found myself in a lot of situations where I know what I need to do. I have defined the goal. I've defined the thing. I see it right there. Now I'm starting to work myself up to feeling ready. And all of a sudden, I spend months and months and years go by trying to chase that feeling of feeling ready because I'm just not confident enough to jump into something when I don't, quote unquote, feel ready, because I don't trust myself to be able to deliver in that thing. That's what it's rooted in. You don't trust yourself yet. You haven't built up that confidence. You haven't put in those repetitions to where you know that you can deliver in the moment where things are not clear. You're great at winning. You're great when you're winning things, when things are going well, you're 100% confident and you feel ready. But the moment things don't go well, the moment things get hard, the moment things get difficult, all of a sudden you back away. All of a sudden you find yourself not feeling ready, and then you have to go step away and do these things to get ready. You tell yourself, I'm just getting things in place right now. I'm too busy. I'm just working on my schedule. I'm putting some things together and I'm going to get there. There's always going to be an excuse, but there's not a single reason not to do something. That's a quote by Bill Bessick. There's always going to be an excuse, but never a reason not to do something. Think about the thing that you want. If, for example, you want to go get in better shape, you want to lose weight, and you want to be able to run better, how many excuses can you think of right now? You can think of every excuse in the book. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't have the stamina. I don't have the shoes. I don't know where to run. I don't have a gym membership. The weather doesn't look good outside. I have to go do this thing. I made this commitment. There's so many excuses that you can come up with, but flip that and think of a reason why you shouldn't get in better shape. Think of a reason. What's the reason why you should not do it? You can't think of one because there's no reason why you shouldn't do it, but there's excuses of why you shouldn't do it. So you always find excuses, and you need to call yourself out there too as well. When you set a goal or you have a vision of something you want to do in your mind, set it, and then don't make excuses for it. Don't make excuses for it and go after it. Confidence doesn't come while you're waiting. Confidence doesn't come when you think about it. You never think your way into confidence. Confidence comes from doing. Confidence is built from repetition. Confidence is like working out a muscle. You don't just start by lifting a lot of weights. You start with the small weights and you work your way up over time. It's not about big jumping. It's about the little things. In order to handle the big things, you must first handle the little things. In order to have confidence, you must first start small. Start with the things that scare you. And over time, you start to build that confidence and you'll start to want to do things and you'll find yourself feeling less and less afraid and you start to do bigger and better things. The beginning of something new, the beginning of something hard, the beginning of a goal that you want that's difficult is always messy. It's always messy. It's never pretty. And you're scared to look like a beginner. You're scared to be seen struggling, but that's how everybody starts. That is literally how everybody starts. Every confident person that you admire, when they first started, they didn't look good. When they first started, they were all over the place. And they'll tell you, if you really pay attention close enough and you look at all these successful athletes, successful actors, successful business people and entrepreneurs, whatever it is that you deem as successful, if you ever go and research the stories behind these people and find what they were like when they first began, a lot of them were never good at most things. A lot of them were very bad at what they did. And you don't see that. You don't see that. You see the person that you see now after they've put on a decade, 2 decades worth of work. That's the person you see. And then that's the person you start to judge yourself against, which is not a fair comparison because where you are versus where they are is 2 completely different phases in life. You should never judge a beginner versus a person who is at the highest level. That's not how it works, and that's not how you need to look at yourself. You need to realize that it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, and struggling means that you are making progress at something. You're not failing. That word struggling has such a negative connotation because when I think of struggling, when you think of struggling, you think of this bad thing where you're just looking absolutely terrible and everybody's laughing at you and everybody thinks that you're a loser. But that's not true. That's not true. Everybody around you is struggling. Everybody around you is trying to achieve something. Most of us in life are high performers. Most of us are struggling through life. So what's the problem here? That is the definition of living life. It's to struggle your way through and grow and build courage, build skills, build confidence, and become a person who now is at a certain level and competent at certain things. That's what struggling does. Struggling is the path to actually becoming competent. And you have to accept that. In order to be competent at something, in order to be good at something, you have to struggle. You want other people to see you win so bad. You want everybody to see you win in every aspect of your life and everything that you do. But you fail to realize that people don't really relate to somebody who wins at everything. People relate to somebody who tries and struggles and then ultimately wins at something. People love the story of the underdog. There's a reason why stories, when you look at the hero in the story, ultimately the person that gets what they want at the end of the movie, there's a reason why they start at the bottom of the barrel and they start with the world against them with absolutely no skills at all and no path forward. And they struggle and ultimately find a way to overcome and build themselves up to where they win in the end. That's a story that people like. That's a story that people resonate with. If you were to watch a story where from the very first moment, this hero had absolutely every power in the world, had no flaws, no enemies, was loved by everybody, had the perfect family, the perfect relationship, probably wouldn't be the best movie or TV show you'd ever watch. There's nothing. There's nothing to gain. There's no story there. There's no hero's arc. There's no tragedy. There's nothing to it. And you can't expect your life to be like that. Life is going to be like the life of a hero. It's a hero who has a problem, who wants something, finds a guide, finds something, somebody to help them. They put in the work, they put in the action, they overcome, and then ultimately they get the thing. That's how you should live your life. Live your life as if you were the hero of your own story. Start to think yourself as the hero of your own story. Every day you wake up, you're a hero in your own story. Every day you wake up, you are going to struggle your way up into becoming the person that you're proud of. Because you have to build that. You have to build that if you truly want to have that confidence and the courage to accomplish those big goals that I know that you have. And remember, you don't need to be fearless. You don't need to have no fear. I don't know anyone who doesn't have any fear. And if they don't have any fear, I would challenge that and say that it's only because they're hiding it very well. Interesting, the person that comes to mind is George St. Pierre. If you know anything about mixed martial arts, George St. Pierre, GSP, is one of the greatest MMA fighters in history. Most MMA people would probably put George St. Pierre in like their top 3, their top 5 fighters. But there's one thing that George always says in most of his interviews that you watch him. He tells you that he really didn't like fighting at all. He didn't like competing at all because competition day for him was the worst day of his life. He was always afraid. He was always afraid. He couldn't keep any food down. He was so anxious. He was afraid of getting in that ring, getting knocked out, and failing in front of everybody. Every single fight, he felt that. Every single fight he went into that octagon to fight, he felt that. But guess what? He was a warrior. He was a warrior, and a true warrior, no matter how afraid they feel, they always take the next step. He always got into that cage, and he always came out with a victory. That's how warriors live their life. And you can embrace that warrior mentality. We're all warriors in different aspects of our lives. Whatever you're doing, whether it's in your career, your relationship, your fitness, whatever it is, think of yourself as a warrior, as a hero in that category of your life, and realize that you're not going to get rid of that fear, but what you're going to do is you're going to do little things every single day. You're going to do one little thing every single day to conquer that fear, to face that fear. And those little things are ultimately going to build and help you now start to do bigger and bigger things. And then soon enough, you'll find yourself being a person who feels afraid, but you're a person who doesn't let fear and being afraid hold them back from actually going and doing something. If there is a message that you've been procrastinating to send to somebody and you want to say something, send that message. If there's something you've been wanting to post on social media, your first post maybe, post that message. You're trying to make a video, maybe you're trying to record a podcast, you're too afraid of what people are going to say, you're self-conscious, you don't have your self-worth yet. Do it anyways, because chances are nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to watch your first few videos. And that is actually a good thing, which means you have nothing to lose. Post it anyways. If there's a fitness class that you walk by every single day and you wonder, I wish I have the courage to step in there one day, maybe just take a class. It looks like something I would enjoy, but I'm afraid that when I get in there, I'm going to look like a fool and embarrass myself because I don't know what I'm doing. Go try it out anyways. Find out if they have a free trial class. Join it, because what you can tell yourself is you're going to spend one day in that class. And if it's the worst day of your life and everybody laughs you out of that class, you never have to go in that ever again. And guess what will happen? You're going to go there and it's not going to be as bad as you think. And you might actually just enjoy it and show up for a second class. Whatever it is that you're afraid to do, whatever it is that you are overthinking because you fear rejection, you fear embarrassment, you fear failure, go ahead and chunk it down to one little step. Go do that. Whatever it is, go do it, try it, and see how you feel afterwards. You're going to stop feeling like a fraud because you're actually going to start living a life that you're proud of. You're actually going to start being happy with the things that you do. You'll feel proud again, not because you're perfect, but because you showed up. You showed up and did the thing. Because you showed up and you did the thing, you're going to have momentum. Because you're going to have momentum, you're going to go and do that next thing. Because you're going to go do that next thing, you're going to start to feel more confident. And once you start to feel more confident in taking those steps with the momentum, the next step won't feel as bad. If you're tired of letting fear of rejection control your life, watch this next episode right here. I'll show you how to stop living for other people's approval and how you can really start to become who you're meant to be. Thanks for watching. And as always, take care. Have a wonderful day.